Imagine snagging a great deal at Target, bringing it home, and then realizing later on it's just not what you wanted. But when you go to gather up your things, panic sets in. You've completely lost the receipt. What do you do now? Well, stick around, because in this explainer, we're diving deep into Target's return policies and showing you exactly how to navigate returns even without that elusive piece of paper. Let's get right into it.
We have absolutely all been there. It's that highly relatable, mildly terrifying panic when you need to return something, but the physical receipt has just vanished into thin air. You're searching your pockets, tearing apart your car, digging through the recycling bin, literally nothing. But hey, before you accept defeat and banish that unwanted item to the back of your closet forever, take a deep breath. Target actually has systems specifically built for this exact scenario. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover Target's generous return policy, your options for a lost receipt, avoiding return pitfalls, a step-by-step return guide, some real-life scenarios, and finally, a quick conclusion and disclaimer.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Target's generous return policy. Before we even get into the exceptions and those missing receipt workarounds, let's look at the baseline. Because compared to a lot of competitors, Target's approach to customer satisfaction is incredibly friendly. For the vast majority of items they sell, you've got 90 days to make a return or exchange. This applies to most general merchandise, think home goods, clothing, kitchenware, as long as the items are unopened and in new condition. And if you bought it online, that 90-day clock starts the exact moment your item is delivered or picked up in store. It's a really generous window, especially considering a lot of retailers cut you off at just 30 or 60 days.
Now, check out this massive jump to 365 days. If you're returning an item from one of Target's owned brands, so we're talking Cat & Jack clothing, Up & Up Essentials, or Room Essentials furniture, Target guarantees your satisfaction for a full year. If you aren't happy, you can bring it back within 365 days for an exchange or a refund, as long as you've got proof of purchase.
However, there are definitely some strict exceptions to the rule, so you really need to pay attention to what you're buying. Standard items get 90 days, and Target brands get a year. But electronics and entertainment items, your window drops to just 30 days. And for Apple products, Beats products, and mobile phones, you have a super rigid 14-day window. You'll want to guard those receipts with your life and know exactly which category your item falls into before you even step foot in the store. Moving right along to Section 2, Lost Receipt, your options. So when you walk up to guest services completely empty-handed, you're essentially facing a fork in the road. You're either going to make a verified return or an unverified return. Now, a verified return means Target can look up your digital purchase history, confirm exactly what you paid, and give you a full refund right back to your original payment method. An unverified return, on the other hand, means their system simply cannot find a record of your purchase. And as you'll see in a minute, this drastically limits your refund options and forces you to use an ID scan.
Let's focus on the ideal scenario first. Digital verification. Target's point-of-sale system is incredibly smart. If you swiped your Target Circle card, a Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover card when you bought the item, the store associate can just swipe that exact same card to pull up your receipt straight from their database. Or if you linked your payment to the Target Circle app or scanned your Target wallet barcode at checkout, they can literally just scan your phone to instantly verify the purchase. Boom. Your lost paper receipt is completely reconstructed. But what if you paid cash and didn't use the app? Or what if you simply can't find the card you used? Well, now you're doing an unverified return. In this case, if Target approves the return, you aren't getting cash back, and it's not going back to your bank account. Instead, you'll receive a merchandise return card. This is a very specific type of store credit that can only be used for in-store purchases and absolutely cannot be redeemed for cash.
And here is the absolutely crucial point regarding unverified returns. You are subject to the lowest selling price rule. Because Target cannot verify exactly how much you paid for the item, they're only going to refund you the absolute lowest promotional or clearance price that item sold for within the last 90 days. So if you paid $50, but it went on clearance for $15 last month, yeah, your merchandise return card will only have $15 on it. Which brings us to Section 3, avoiding the return pitfalls. To process literally any unverified return, Target requires you to present a valid government-issued photo ID, like your driver's license. When they scan your ID, that data doesn't just stay at Target. It gets sent over to a third-party tracking system known as the retail equation. This system is actually used by tons of major retailers, including Home Depot and Best Buy. It logs your unverified return behavior, basically creating a score for you behind the scenes to make sure you aren't abusing the policy or returning stolen merchandise.
And this brings us to the biggest pitfall of all. According to operations analysis and reports from actual retail employees, there is an approximate $100 annual limit for unverified returns tied directly to your ID. So if you attempt to return more than roughly $100 worth of merchandise without a receipt in a rolling 365-day period, the system is going to flag your ID and guest services will outright deny your return. Let's pivot to Section 4, Step-by-Step Return Guide. If you're missing a receipt, here is your quick, actionable execution checklist. Step 1. Gather the item, keeping it in its original packaging if possible. Grab your physical payment card and your government ID. Step 2. Open your Target app and check your purchase history for any digital barcodes. Step 3. Visit the guest services desk at your local store and politely ask them to look up your purchase using your card or app. And Step 4. If all else fails and they absolutely cannot find your transaction, be prepared to accept a merchandise return card for the lowest selling price, assuming you haven't hit your annual limit.
Now for Section 5, real-life scenarios.
Let's look at how different items are actually treated at the return desk in the real world. Say you have a Cat and Jack t-shirt that your kid wore and totally outgrew within a year. Even if it's used, as long as you have proof of purchase, this return is just allowed under their 365-day satisfaction guarantee. Now consider an unopened Apple iPad. If you try to return it on day 15, it's going to be strictly denied. That 14-day window for Apple products is rigid and completely unyielding. Finally, imagine an unopened item sold by a third-party Target Plus partner. Without a receipt or digital barcode, it gets denied outright. Target strictly requires proof of purchase for all partner items, so unverified returns there are a no-go.
And finally, Section 6, Conclusion and Disclaimer.
Here are your key takeaways from savvy shoppers so you can completely avoid the unverified return trap in the future. First, always link your payment cards to your Target Circle account. Second, use the Target app as your automated digital filing cabinet. Do this, and your receipts are basically always safely stored right in your pocket. Third, always keep the original packaging for high-value or sensitive items, because it really speeds up processing. And finally, if you absolutely must do a receiptless return with an ID scan, just remember you only have about a $100 allowance for the entire year before your returns are cut off. Before we wrap this up, we do need to note that this explainer provides general information and insights regarding Target's return policy as of 2026. Retail policies can and do change all the time, and it's always best practice to directly consult with your local Target store or check their official website for the most up-to-date and accurate return information. Target's return policy is honestly incredibly generous when you're prepared, but navigating it without a receipt requires knowing exactly how their systems work behind the scenes. Hopefully, this breakdown has armed you with the exact knowledge you need to get your money back smoothly. So we'll leave you with this final thought. How are you going to organize your digital receipts for your very next Target run?